Chapter 137. Wow! A black-clothed martial artist appeared in front of Yi Tian. The man had a cold face, as if he had no feelings. Copy the talent. Yi Tian wanted to check the other party's talent, but he couldn't. Even if he could, he probably wouldn't see any talent, because this person was a fake, a fictional character. Swish! The black-clothed warrior moved and charged at Yi Tian. Poof! Yi Tian killed him with one blow. The second kill ended without suspense. It's too weak. It should be equivalent to the extreme of an ordinary king level, that is, the weakest one-star king level. Yi Tian judged. After breaking through the first layer, Yi Tian's points increased by 1. As for his ranking, there wasn't one yet, only the 3-star king level was eligible to enter the king list. His soul returned, and the machine spirit stood in front of him, asking, Yi Tian, do you want to continue to break through the second layer? Yes, Yi Tian replied. Rumble. Yi Tian's soul once again entered a new place, the second level of the God of War Tower. Similarly, Yi Tian also met a black-clothed martial artist here, but it was much stronger than the black-clothed martial artist from the first layer. Whether it was speed, strength, or defense, it wasn't comparable to the first layer's black-clothed martial artist. But Yi Tian only needed 2 moves to kill the other party, successfully breaking through the second layer and gaining 2 points. Third floor. The speed of the black-clothed martial artist encountered this time was not weaker than Yi Tian at all, and even faster than Yi Tian. Fortunately, Yi Tian's Tianji Slash was able to increase his attack speed by 2 times, which made Yi Tian's attack faster than the opponent's reaction speed. Otherwise, it would have been truly difficult to hit the opponent. At this level, Yi Tian seized the opportunity well and killed the other party in 3 moves. After breaking through the third layer, Yi Tian gained 4 points. Now his total points had reached 7 points. This might seem like a small number, but each point had to be very precious. Outside the Ares Tower, a brand new name appeared at the end of the King List. King List, No 1023, Yi Tian, Scattered Cultivation Alliance, 3-star combat power. On the King List, the top few dozen and the very last place usually attracted the most attention. The last place was conspicuous, while the middle rankings often went unnoticed. At this time, Yi Tian's entry into the last spot on the King List immediately caught the attention of many people. Yi Tian, who is this person? A very unfamiliar name. Is there a genius named Yi Tian in our Zhanghai superbase? I know a Yi Tian, but he's just a talented martial artist. It's definitely not him. There are a lot of people called Yi Tian, but there isn't one who can reach the genius level. Who is this Yi Tian, who has suddenly become a 3-star king-level powerhouse? Guess how many ranks Yi Tian can be promoted? I guess he can enter the top 1000. After all, he's just past the 3rd level, and he hasn't had time to enter the 4th level. Even if he doesn't pass the 4th level, he'll be ranked according to the time he lasts, and he'll definitely be able to enter the top 1000. Maybe he can make it to the top 500? Top 500? That's a joke. Which one of the top 500 hasn't broken through the top genius of the 4th layer? Yi Tian probably got a little lucky break and suddenly rose up. How can he suddenly jump to the top 500? Just as everyone was talking, Yi Tian arrived at the 4th layer. The black-clothed martial artist at this level was much faster than Yi Tian. Although Yi Tian had a top-level speed talent with a speed increase of 20 times, his realm was too low. Not long after entering the king level, his speed was at most comparable to a 3-star king. The speed of this 4-star king-level warrior was far superior. Of course, Yi Tian was not without trump cards. He still had a talent for space. However, he wasn't going to use his spatial talent. He wanted to see if he could kill the weakest 4-star king level with his strength, without relying on his spatial talent. Heavenly Slash. Heavenly Slash. Heavenly Slash. Yi Tian used the silver-level sword technique Heaven-level Slash again and again, but it was difficult to hit this black-clothed martial artist. The occasional hits only wounded the opponent slightly, drawing a little blood. And the opponent's attacks were difficult for Yi Tian to dodge. Fortunately, Yi Tian has a pseudo-arcane-level defense talent, which can offset part of the attack. Coupled with the pseudo-arcane-level Vajra Bone talent, his bones could block attacks and act as an additional layer of defense. Moreover, Yi Tian also has a top-level healing talent, allowing him to recover from injuries repeatedly. It was very difficult to kill Yi Tian. Time passed little by little, and people in the outside world thought that Yi Tian had failed to pass the 4th level. They assumed he'd been killed in seconds as soon as he entered the 4th level, so his ranking could only remain at the very bottom of the king list. However, no one dared to sarcastically mock Yi Tian. The geniuses who could enter the king list were true combat geniuses. Geniuses such as Li Yuling and Qin He were only comparable to the 1-star king level and were far inferior to the 3-star king level. It's incredibly difficult to become a 3-star king. It's not just about high attack power. One must also have improved speed, or possess a strong defensive talent to withstand the black-clothed warrior's attacks and then counterattack. If you only have a single offensive talent, it's difficult to become a powerful star king. Of course, every top power has treasures that can increase speed talent or defense talent. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many 3-star or above kings. It's just that upgrading to too high a defense talent or speed talent for top forces comes at an enormous cost. In the blink of an eye, 3 hours passed. Yi Tian's clothes were only slightly torn, but he had no injuries, as they were all healed by his top healing talent. However, the black-clothed martial artist was seriously injured because Yi Tian's attack power was too high, much higher than that of the black-clothed martial artist. The occasional strike left the opponent seriously wounded. Due to his injuries, the black-clothed warrior's speed was affected. Finally, poof, Yi Tian's Tianji slash cut off the head of the black-clothed warrior, and the black-clothed warrior disappeared. He broke through the 4th floor. Yi Tian got 8 points. Outside the God of War Tower, a person suddenly saw Yi Tian's name disappear from the last place and immediately shouted, "Oh my God, you see, Yi Tian's name has disappeared. You can't see it from behind. It can't be a fall, right? Fall your head. How can someone fall in the God of War Tower? He must have been promoted. Once you break through the 4th layer, the ranking will rise sharply, and you naturally won't find the ranking in the back." Someone reminded. As a result, many people began to search for rankings around 500, and immediately found Yi Tian's name. King List, number 504, Yi Tian, Scattered Cultivation Alliance, 4-star combat power. This ranking was enough to explain everything. Yi Tian really broke through the 4th layer and had a 4-star king level strength. Oh my God, why did it take him so long to get past the 4th floor? Someone was surprised. It must be that his strength can barely reach the 4-star king level, so he fought with the black-clothed martial artist for a long time, and finally killed the opponent by luck and broke through the 4th layer. It should be like this. If you say that, Yi Tian's ranking should stop here. It's still very powerful. A 4-star king level, there are only 504 people in the entire Zhonghai superbase. However, before they finished talking, some people were shocked to find that Yi Tian's name had disappeared from 504 again, and Yi Tian had not even been found until 400. Chapter 138. What's going on? Many people were puzzled. It hadn't been long since Yi Tian's name disappeared. Could it be that something was wrong? As for the possibility that Yi Tian had broken through the 5th layer, they hadn't even considered it. After all, Yi Tian had fought on the 4th layer for so long before breaking through. How could he have broken through the 5th layer so quickly? That's not realistic. Yi Tian, his name appears in the 86th. Someone exclaimed. Phew. Everyone looked at the 86th place on the king list, and they were dumbfounded. King list, 86th, Yi Tian, Scattered Cultivation Alliance, 5-star combat power. 5-star combat power. How dazzling these 2 words are. And the name Yi Tian would definitely become famous on the king list. This is because 5-star combat power can be compared to weaker saint-level combat power. Saint level and king level are 2 entirely different tiers, and the gap between them is immense. When a grandmaster enters the king level, their strength doesn't increase too much. Many geniuses can easily skip levels and kill king level cultivators. But the possibility of a king level killing a saint level is very small. Once someone enters the saint level, their body transforms into a holy body, and their strength skyrockets tenfold, along with their body's speed. Because of this, it is difficult for many geniuses to leapfrog and fight against a weak saint level that has just broken through. However, a king level with 5-star combat power can indeed leapfrog and fight at the saint level. And once a 5-star king level enters the saint level, they will inevitably be the strongest among saint levels, crushing those of the same tier. Therefore, anyone who has reached the king level of 5-star combat power must be respected by countless people. That is a true combat genius. But they were very puzzled. How did Yu Tian break through the 5th layer? A minute ago, Yu Tian came to the 5th floor of the God of War Tower. A flash of black light appeared, and although Yu Tian made a dodge action in time, one arm was still cut off. "It's many times faster than me," Yu Tian said helplessly. If he fought the enemy like this, he had no hope of hitting others at all. How could he kill the opponent? And the top healing talent wasn't invincible. Once the damage was too heavy, or his head was completely shattered, he would also die. Of course, there is no real death in the virtual world, but there would definitely be a challenge failure. He was very eager for the God of War monument, so he naturally wanted to get more points, so that he would have a lot more time to participate in the God of War monument. As for revealing strength, there was no need at all. Even if he broke through the 5th layer, there were still terrifying kings who had broken through the 7th layer on the king list. His strength would definitely not attract much attention. At most, he'd be considered a combat genius. The next moment, the black-clothed warrior attacked again. At this time, Yi Tian turned on his spatial talent and teleported in time to dodge. Teleportation doesn't require reflexes. As soon as the idea arrives, it can instantly move. Even if the speed of this black-clothed martial artist far exceeded Yi Tian's, there was no way to attack Yi Tian. Under repeated teleportations, Yi Tian began to fight back. Finally, Yi Tian seized the opportunity and killed the black-clothed martial artist with one blow. Even the spatial blade was useless. After breaking through the 5th layer, Yi Tian gained 16 points, and his total points reached 31 points. 6th floor. Yi Tian challenged the black-clothed warriors here, but as soon as he appeared, the black-clothed man attacked, and Yi Tian was hit hard before he even started to teleport. In the next few attempts, Yi Tian dodged the attack of the man in black. It was truly the speed of the man in black that surpassed Yi Tian's mind reaction. After all, teleportation also needs to be launched by mind. Once it exceeds the mind reaction, you can attack the enemy before they teleport. After only holding on for 1 minute, Yi Tian's virtual body was shot in the head and dissipated in the virtual world. His soul returned. Yi Tian was shocked to find that his soul was not damaged at all. He was a soul entering the virtual world, so why was he killed but his soul wasn't injured? Could it be that the God of War Tower blessed the soul and teleported it in time? Yi Tian thought so. Suddenly, he became even more curious about the origin of the God of War Tower. Outside the Ares Tower, Yi Tian ended the challenge, and his name was finalized. King List, number 62, Yi Tian, Scattered Cultivation Alliance, 5-star combat power. Although it's the same 5-star combat power, there are strong and weak individuals. The ranking is determined by the battle time in the 6th layer. Many 5-star combat powers are almost killed instantly, so they are ranked after Yi Tian. Of course, Yi Tian's healing talent gave him a significant advantage, but this is also a skill, which is factored into combat ability. When the ranking was determined, countless people erupted. Yi Tian's name spread quickly. This was the 62nd place on the king list, and it was his first time breaking into the War God Tower. To achieve such a high ranking on his first attempt was an extremely rare situation. For a moment, many people couldn't believe it. Oh my God! I thought at first that the other party would be at most last on the king list, but I didn't expect him to be so fierce. He went all the way to the 62nd place on the king list. This ranking is too high, and it's enough to rank among the top few among the 4 major forces. And in the Scattered Cultivation Alliance, there are only 3 or 4 who are stronger than him. Who the hell is this person? Is he really a loose cultivator? Do you really think he can't do loose cultivation? If he doesn't have the talent to fight against the sky, how can he achieve 5-star combat power? And it's useless to have a single attack type talent. That kind of martial artist is invincible at the same level, but it's not realistic to want to fight beyond the level. The flaws are too big. A person is born with a variety of combat talents, and it's almost unrealistic to have no flaws at all. Many people have acquired talents that are increased by using treasures, which requires a backstage. This Yi Tian must have a backstage, otherwise how could he have 5-star combat power? Could it be that he's an apprentice accepted by a certain big shot in the Scattered Cultivation Alliance, or a genius cultivated in secret? Haha, who can say for sure about this, but Yi Tian's name must be famous in the Zhonghai Superbase. A prominent martial artist publicized Yi Tian's 62nd ranking on the king list, and soon many people knew Yi Tian's name. Some high-level leaders of the major forces also had more information in their hands, information about Yi Tian. Scattered Meditation Alliance. Several high-level officials held a small impromptu meeting. Yi Tian, whose disciple is he? I don't know. I haven't heard of any old friends accepting disciples. It shouldn't be cultivated by these old guys in our Scattered Cultivation Alliance. Maybe he's really a genius who happened to join the Scattered Cultivation Alliance. Do you want to solicit him? Everyone, don't forget, the Scattered Cultivation Alliance pursues level trading. Don't break this rule. Otherwise the Scattered Cultivation Alliance will inevitably collapse. Won't a few of you really defeat the forces under your own command in the first place? I haven't forgotten. I just saw a genius from the Scattered Cultivation Alliance, and I was curious. Yi Tian, this little guy, has broken through the 5th layer for the first time. Maybe he has a chance to break through the 6th layer, and our Scattered Cultivation Alliance only has one genius of the 6th layer. Well, after all, Yi Tian has joined the Scattered Cultivation Alliance. If there are other forces to deal with him, let's just stop it. There's no need to contact him. Seconded. At the end of the meeting, a few of the old guys from the Scattered Cultivation Alliance disappeared. Zhonghai Superbase, in a certain tower gate. Wang Yan sat in her office, looking at a list of kings in her hand, which was the new list of kings that had just been sent. Yi Tian, the 62nd on the king list. Wang Yan looked at the name of Yi Tian on this list and was stunned for dozens of seconds. Chapter 139. Is that the little one? Wang Yan was a little unsure. The gap in strength between the two was truly immense. The Yi genius she knew delivered an attack with 12,000 elephant powers, an attack power not even reaching a 1-star king level. Yet, the Yi Tian on the king list possessed 5-star king level combat power. But she took a closer look and finally determined that the Yi Tian on the king list was indeed the Yi Tian she had seen before. According to this information, Yi Tian, who was on the king list, had just arrived at the Zhonghai Superbase. He looked very young, and the time he entered the Zhonghai Superbase was the same as the time she knew. Is it possible for two different people to enter the Zhonghai Superbase with the same name and at the same time? There's no such coincidence in the world. The truth, in fact, was that Yi Tian had hidden his strength. Underestimate this little guy, Wang Yan muttered. According to her speculation, the other party was a peerless genius who had forged a perfect foundation, possessed the power to break the limit, and had a pseudo-mystical level of strength talent. However, it hadn't been long since he broke through to the king level in cultivation, making it impossible to grow to this extent in such a short time. Unless, could it be that this little guy's cultivation talent is at least Huihui level? If he cultivates in a high-level cultivation room or a top-level cultivation room, a month is enough to significantly increase his physical strength, and his progress speed would be extremely fast. Plus, if he possesses not only a pseudo-arcane level strength talent but also other pseudo-mystery level talents, it's truly possible for him to be promoted to a 5-star king level combat power. Wang Yan analyzed. Interesting, very interesting. Let him grow up for a while. That opportunity can be left to him. It's good karma. Perhaps my hope of stepping into the saint level in the future still rests on him. Wang Yan whispered to herself. The Tower of the God of War. Yi Tian didn't leave there, but asked the Machine Spirit, I want to participate in the God of War monument. How much does it cost? 1 point a day, the Machine Spirit introduced. 1 point a day? Yi Tian calculated. He had 31 points, which meant he could comprehend for 31 days, equivalent to a month. A month isn't a short time, but what should he use it for? Pseudo-arcane defensive talents? Or other pseudo-Armageddon talents? That's not a good deal. Yi Tian immediately vetoed this idea. Talents, he could completely use his copy talent to acquire. If he encountered a pseudo-mystical level defense talent warrior, he could easily copy it. There was no need to spend his God of War Tower points to participate in the God of War monument for that. It would be a complete waste. He had spent a lot of time in the world of fierce beasts before, trying to comprehend the pseudo-arcane level defense talent, and he already regretted it a little when he realized a little defensive mystery. Now, it would be stupid to come here to comprehend it. Either create sword skills, or comprehend sword intent. Yi Tian decided, but it's not so easy to create a gold-level sword skill. A month is definitely not enough, and gold-level sword skills should be purchasable in the Zhonghai Super Base. At most the price would be a little high. Let's comprehend the sword intent. Yi Tian thought for a while and said, sword intent is a necessary condition for cultivating sword skills, but it takes time. Yi Tian usually disliked not having enough time to practice the purple blood punching acupoint technique. How could he have time to comprehend sword intent? Machine spirit, I want to participate in the monument of the god of war. Yi Tian said to the instrument spirit. Come with me. The machine spirit took Yi Tian to a room, where there was a formation altar. Yi Tian sensed the power of space from the formation altar. This is the teleportation array. The machine spirit introduced. Teleportation formation. Yi Tian was taken aback. He didn't expect that the God of War Tower actually had a teleportation formation. As far as he knew, the Zhonghai Super Base also did not have a teleportation formation. It should be unique to the God of War Tower. Yi Tian stood on the teleportation formation, and immediately the machine spirit opened the teleportation formation. A flash of white light. Yi Tian teleported away, and the next moment he came to another formation altar. This was a huge space. There was no land, no sun, moon, or stars, only a faint light shone on the whole space. In the center of the space was a huge stone monument, about 70 meters high, not as grand as the one in the Beast World, but still extraordinary. The God of War monument exuded special fluctuations that permeated the entire space. Small floating stone slabs were scattered around it, and many of these slabs already had warriors sitting on them. They were visiting the God of War monument. Are these the geniuses on the king's list? No. There should be powerhouses on the holy list and the emperor list, right? Yi Tian guessed. It's a pity that his copying talent was very suppressed here, and there was no way to check their talents. Otherwise, he could really copy 2 Huiwi level cultivation talents. Swish! Yi Tian's body moved. He flew to one of the empty floating stone slabs, sat cross-legged, and began to comprehend. Yi Tian's arrival did not attract the attention of others. People came and went here. Individuals left at any time, people came in at any time, and another person couldn't attract their attention at all. Their attention was entirely on the God of War monument, and they didn't want to waste a second. Yi Tian also seriously comprehended, and then the God of War tablet comprehended the sword intent. But as soon as he came to his senses, Yi Tian frowned. The effect isn't as good as the Enlightenment Heavenly Monument, only about 3/4 of the effect. It seems that the grade of the God of War monument is still a little lower. Yi Tian mused, but something is better than nothing. Yi Tian didn't pick and choose and continued to focus. After cultivating for a day, Yi Tian left. Not because he couldn't comprehend anymore, but because he was going to use up his replication opportunity first. Otherwise, he would waste 2 opportunities if he delayed it for a month. In front of the Tower of the God of War, Yi Tian stood in the crowd, patiently waiting. He waited for a radiant moon-level genius to emerge from the God of War Tower so he could copy the other party's talent. That took 3 days. In the past 3 days, many geniuses had come out. However, many of them were transcendental level or morning level cultivation talents, and there wasn't a single Huiwi level cultivation talent. This showed that Huiwi level talents were extremely rare even in the Zhonghai Super Base. Suddenly, a very cold-looking woman emerged. Many people exclaimed, "It's the Water Thousand Moon Sage." Shui Qianyue, ranked 8th on the holy list. Yi Tian also looked over and was immediately captivated by Shui Qianyue. Of course, he wasn't attracted by her beauty, but by her talent. Human, Water Thousand Moons. Cultivation talent, Huiwi level. Ice talent, top. Speed talent, high. Defense talent, pseudo-arcane, 40%. What a talent against the sky. Yi Tian was surprised. A Huiwi level cultivation talent was one thing, but the other party actually possessed a pseudo-arcane level defense talent, as well as a top-level ice talent and a high-level speed talent. There were almost no defects. No wonder she ranked 8th on the holy list. pseudo-arcane level defense talent, and it's also a 4% defense arcane, able to comprehend arcane defense. The other party should have cast a perfect foundation, but it must be different from my method of casting a perfect foundation. Could it be the perfect foundation forged by using some special treasure? Yi Tian guessed. Without a word, copy. Copy. Yi Tian copied Shui Qianyu's Huiwi level cultivation talent and pseudo-arcane level defense talent in a row. What a kind person. Yi Tian commented on Shui Qianyu. She sent him 2 very good talents at once. What else could she be but a good person? Shui Qianyu didn't know that someone had just given her a good person card as she walked away, directly into the adoring and respectful gaze of everyone. Go home first and fuse your talent, and then come back to comprehend the sword intent. Yi Tian walked in the direction of home. Chapter 140. Back home, Yi Tian began to fuse the Huiwi level talent and the pseudo-arcane level defense talent. It didn't take long for Yi Tian to complete the fusion process, covered in sweat. Yi Tian glanced at his status. His Huiwi level cultivation talent was still at the Huiwi level. If he wanted to be promoted further, he'd have to copy another Huiwi level talent. This wasn't an urgent matter for the time being, it could definitely be replicated later. However, his pseudo-arcane defense talent had changed. Originally, Yi Tian's pseudo-arcane level defensive talent was defense talent, pseudo-arcane, Sancheng. Now, after fusing Shui Qianyu's pseudo-arcane level defensive talent, Yi Tian's pseudo-arcane level defensive talent had become defense talent, pseudo-arcane level, 60%. 60% of the pseudo-arcane level talent is more powerful than Shui Qianyu's pseudo-arcane level defensive talent, but it's a pity that it hasn't reached 70. Yi Tian sighed, but if you think about it carefully, it's not truly possible to reach 70. After all, it's a fusion, not a superimposed talent, so there must be some loss. Being able to reach 60% of the pseudo-mystery level defense talent, Yi Tian was already very satisfied. Try the amplification effect of 60% of pseudo-arcane level talents. Yi Tian began to test it and soon confirmed the results. The amplification effect of 60% of the pseudo-arcane defense talent was 50 times. The defense was increased from 35 times to 50 times the defense at once. Haha, my defense has increased a lot now. Yi Tian was extremely satisfied. After resting for a few hours, Yi Tian came to the God of War Tower again, entered the space of the God of War monument again, and comprehended the sword intent with the help of the God of War tablet. In the blink of an eye, 30 days had passed. Opening his eyes, Yi Tian exhaled a breath of turbidity, and his eyes were full of joy. 70% sword intent. This was the effect of a month of enlightenment at the God of War monument. 70% of the sword intent meant that he could cultivate gold-level sword skills. This was a huge threshold, and he didn't know how many people with sword talent didn't have this qualification, but he had reached it. If Yi Tian relied on his own slow penance to comprehend, he didn't know how long it would take to comprehend the sword intent to 70%. But now, with the help of the God of War monument, it was achieved in a month. If you have the chance, find a gold-level sword skill to cultivate. Yi Tian decided. His points ran out, and Yi Tian couldn't stay here anymore. Coming out of the space of the God of War monument, Yi Tian asked the Machine Spirit, in addition to breaking through the 33rd floor of the God of War Tower to challenge the level, is there any other way to get points? Yi Tian really wanted to get a lot of points now, but he couldn't get too many points just by challenging. He was a little curious. There were a lot of people who had participated in the space of the God of War monument. It stood to reason that many people should easily spend their points, and there shouldn't be so many people in the space of the God of War monument who were enlightening. So, there must be other ways to earn points. He just didn't know it. Yes, you can give them away, explained the Machine Spirit. Everyone can transfer their points to others, and you can have others transfer them to you. That means you can buy and sell points. Yi Tian's expression moved. The Machine Spirit shook his head and said, the God of War Tower will not buy and sell points, but whether anyone is willing to transfer points to you depends on your ability. Yi Tian immediately understood that the purchase and sale of points was carried out in private, and it had nothing to do with the God of War Tower. But in this way, it's easy for the disciples of some big forces to get a lot of points. For example, by cultivating a large number of 1-star king-level ordinary king-level extremes, and then letting them break through to the first layer one after another. Even if a person can only get 1 point, if there are many people, the points obtained are very rich. As long as a contract is signed in advance and the points are required to belong to the big forces will have a lot of points. Of course, if you have a large number of treasures, you can also exchange points with other people. But this requires a very high value, and it so happens that there are treasures that others want to exchange for other people's points. People like Yi Tian can't use this method. This path doesn't work. Is there any other way to get points? Yi Tian asked again. Then there is only one last way. Create a record. This is the hidden points system of the God of War monument. Any warrior who breaks a certain record of the God of War monument will get the corresponding points, and the number of points is quite a lot, the machine spirit spoke. Hidden points system? Yi Tian's expression moved. He felt that this was good. Maybe he could really get points from the hidden points system. What are the records? Yi Tian was curious. Wow! A virtual screen appeared in front of Yi Tian, and one record after another was presented. The strongest attack record of the king level. The king's strongest defense record. The strongest speed record of the king level. The record of the fastest progress of the king level. Yi Tian casually clicked on the record of the fastest progress of the king level and suddenly saw the record of a person. Wang Zi, within 80 days, the opening up from the first acupuncture point of the king level to the 365 acupuncture point has been completed, reaching the ultimate of the king level, creating a record. Quote. Yi Tian didn't know what to say. He had cultivated the entire king level realm in 80 days? Is this record real? Not a joke. Machine spirit, did this Wang Zi really complete this record in 80 days? The machine spirit replied, it's true. It's just that he didn't cultivate normally, but someone else forcibly improved it with special methods, and he exhausted his potential. He hasn't come to the God of War Tower for decades. That's it. Yi Tian understood. This was completely because those top forces deliberately sacrificed the potential of a king level in order to impact the record, frantically letting him improve his strength, creating this record and gaining a large number of points. However, this isn't to say it's cruel. Perhaps both parties were consensual, and the other party may also have received a lot of benefits. This record, Yi Tian thought he couldn't break it. King level strongest attack record. 8.2 Dragon Power, Creator, Lin Zan. Lin Zan. Yi Tian immediately knew who this person was, the founder of the Tomahawk Mercenary Pavilion, the Tomahawk Emperor, and Lin Zan was his real name. It turns out that he is the king-level strongest attack record setter. No wonder he can become the first emperor of the Zhanghai super base. Yi Tian exclaimed. Immediately, he became curious again. What strength unit is this 8.2 Dragon Power? Machine Spirit. What is the situation with the power of the 8.2 Dragon? Yi Tian asked curiously. The Machine Spirit said, the power of the dragon is not the power of a dragon, but a unit of strength. The Dragon Clan likes to use the power of the dragon to describe their own strength, so many of the intelligent races among the beasts also like to use the power of the dragon to measure strength. Nowadays, existence above the saint level will basically use the power of the dragon to describe their own strength, not the power of the elephant. The power of the elephant is too low-end, and it is not convenient to use. The ratio of the power of the dragon to the power of the elephant is, 1 dragon's power is equal to the power of 1 million elephants. The power of 1 dragon is equal to the power of 1 million elephants? Yi Tian was shocked. He calculated his physical strength, if he reached the king level extreme, how much dragon power he could reach. He was completely shocked by this calculation,